So here at the start of the Jonas essay, Technology and Responsibility, Reflections on the New Tasks of Ethics, this little introductory paragraph, we get what is the basic thesis of the thing. I mean, it's a longer essay and there are different aspects of it which you have to understand, but the basic thesis is here. And the thesis is about the historical relationship between human action, or the power of human action, and morality or ethics. And what he's saying is that things have changed. He wrote this, I think, around 1973. So solidly still within the 20th century, and a reflection on what is essentially a 20th century phenomenon, I think. And that is technology, as he tells us in the beginning of the first section, that when he says that human action has changed, he's really thinking about human technology and the power of human technology. But the basic thesis is here. All previous ethics had these interconnected tacit premises in common: that the human condition, determined by the nature of man, the nature of things, was given once for all. That is, the pre modern notion of the human condition, of what human nature was, of the human being's relationship with the rest of nature, that this was something that didn't change. That is, that there was a certain stable conception of things, and that the range of human action and therefore responsibility was narrowly circumscribed. That's a huge part of it, right? That is, the assumption was that the impact of our actions as human beings on both non human nature and on ourselves, especially ourselves as human beings live in the future, that these effects were narrowly circumscribed, as he said, that they're not really very important. And then he says, it will be the burden of my argument to show that these premises no longer hold. That is, that the human condition then is in a state of flux because of, essentially because of modern technology, and that the effects of our action, both on non human nature and on our own nature and our own futures, is no longer narrowly circumscribed. That's a huge part of it. Right? The idea that the effects of our technology are both global, in the sense that we can and have had enormous effects on nature, changing nature, and we, living in the age of global warming, are very aware of this. Jonas is right. And also that the decisions that we make about the deployment of our technologies, especially new technologies or changed technologies, that they have implications that are all but permanent. That is, the effects of our technology on ourselves and on our way of life and on our conditions of living into an open ended future are fairly unlimited. That the decisions that we make now about technologies will have effects into the foreseeable future of the human race, the human species. And the effects, therefore, are profound and long lasting. Our ancestors didn't have to worry about this. Their ethics, he says, was an ethics of the here and now. Here, between you and me, as opposed to the effects of our actions being global. And now, in the sense that whatever import there is in the way that we treat each other, it's about now. It's not about the future. The effects of our actions are not powerful enough to affect the way that anybody in the future. So those things, he says, have changed. And the idea is then that the changed conditions of human action need to be addressed by a new ethics. And that's the basic, I think, the basic thesis. How do we think of this for this class? Well, we're thinking of it in terms of digital ethics. We're thinking of it in terms of digital technology. The introduction of the digital computer in the post World War II period, and its gradual um, permeation of every aspect of our lives. Uh, and especially with the invention of the internet and its further and further employment, use of cell phones has had profound effects on us. These decisions have been made, or maybe these implementations of these technologies have been made, and we are dealing with the consequences.